Hello, Algebra 1 students. I'm looking at inequality quiz. This is not a quiz. It was just, done in class, so it will not be counted as a quiz. And I want to take you through just the odd ones real quick. It says draw a graph for each inequality. I have A is going to be greater than or equal to -2. So I put a solid dot on -2 because it could equal -2. And as long as you have the variable to the left, this greater than sign is going to show you, or if it was a less than sign, it would show you the direction of the arrow. So, pointing this way, so make sure you're shading that way, because everything greater than would fit that description. Try 2 on your own. And 2, you may want to, flip around if you use that little clue, -1.5. So, x is still greater than -1.5. So we still have a greater than. I got to solve and then graph. So what I did was I multiplied by 5 both sides, got rid of the 5 here. This ended up being 10. Then I add 4 to both sides, and I get p is greater than 14. For number 5, try 4 and 6 on your own. Go ahead and make mistakes. We learn from doing so. We end up getting to the point where you could see where, I use the distributive property and combining like terms and then, getting variable, isolating the variable on one side. And here we have 0 is greater than or equal to x, or in other words, x is less than or equal to 0. And then, since it has the line underneath it, it's going to be solid. Back up to number 3 real quick. Notice that's an open dot because it cannot equal, this cannot equal 14. It can only be greater than 14. And number 7, the student council wants to rent a ballroom for the junior prom. The ballroom rental rate is $1,500 for 3 hours and $125 for each additional half hour. Suppose the student council raises $2,125. What is the maximum number of hours for which they can rent the ballroom? So, first of all, we have the $1,500. That's going to be the 3 hours. So the additional amount of half hours is what additional half hour. So this is not the final answer here. I'm going to subtract 1,500 from both sides and then divide by 125, and you get 5 is greater than x, or x is less than or equal to 5. Now, are you saying 5 hours? No. Remember, this was for 3 hours, and this is 5 half hours. So 5, when you put 5 in here, that means, 5 half hours plus the 3 hours. So 5 half hours is going to go in there. So 5 half hours, if you take half of 5, that's 2.5 hours. So, 5 plus 2.5 hours is going to be 7.5 hours is going to actually answer the question of what's the maximum number of hours for which they can rent the ballroom. Well, 7.5 hours, because they'll pay for that first 3 hours. They got that. And then for 5 additional half hour, they could have that 125 times 5. It ends up equaling exactly the 2,125. Okay, and they could equal it or anything less than it, right? That's all they have the money for. So 7.5 hours ends up being your answer. Hopefully you found this helpful, and good luck with those evens.